This episode is powered by Pod Decks. Pod Decks are unique interview questions and episode starting prompts in the palm of your hand. So whether you're a new podcaster or existing broadcaster looking to grow your audience or get more engagement, you're going to want to check out poddecks.com. Use code CinemaGold for 10% off your first order.
Welcome to the Cinema Gold Podcast with your host, Larry Leese. Come join us as Cinema Gold dives into the latest Hollywood films and news.
Hello, listeners, and welcome to an all-new episode of the Cinema Gold Podcast. Today we're diving into the latest box office news and giving our thoughts on this past weekend's episode of WandaVision. Remember, if you ever want to be a part of the show, send us a voice message at 682-305-0483. Now let's begin with the latest box office news and numbers. Liam Neeson and the Marksman remain at number one at the box office. This weekend it managed to bring in $2.03 million for a total of $6.09 million. This is in part due to the fact that the major studios are pushing back their movies like they did after the release of Tenet. Studios witnessed the dismal results of Wonder Woman 84 and News of the World. This was to be expected, as many insiders pointed out. A recent article in the New York Times discussed how many more infections were bound to happen, even with vaccines, as the country begins to relax restrictions. You can debate the usefulness of wearing a mask, but I think as a movie theater worker, I'm sticking with at least wearing the mask for now. The New York Times points out that Columbia University scientists say we could see 158 million total infections if the current restrictions remain in place until late July. This means we could even see more films get pushed back. I'm doubtful we'll see Black Widow anytime soon. Right now, 56% of all theaters in North America are open, with Chicago expected to reopen theaters with 50% capacity in time for Warner Brothers' release of The Little Things. Studios are looking hopeful that Disney will manage to bring people back for Black Widow on May 7th, if that remains the planned release date. However, Disney could alter their plans again and make it a premium on Disney Plus, as they are seeing success with the recent Disney Plus series The Mandalorian and WandaVision. Neeson's previous October film, Honest Thief, managed to find a bit more success than The Marksman in its second weekend, earning $2.3 million with a running total of $7.4 million. And now we're going to take a short break, and now we're diving into our review of WandaVision, Episode 3. WandaVision was back this past weekend for its third episode, and boy did it not disappoint. Wanda has turned her world from a black and white sitcom into color. In the newest episode, WandaVision embraces the 1970s aesthetic and even adds a new theme song, paying homage to the Brady Bunch. As the episode begins, Wanda is pregnant and progressing at a surprising speed. Wanda and Vision are just finishing up a visit from Dr. Stan Nielsen, who assures the family everything is fine. As Vision leaves for a bit, he begins to have some odd encounters with his neighbors. At first, he sees Herb is trimming the hedges on the border of the property, but in actuality, he is actually cutting the low wall between the two without even appearing to notice. The extent of Wanda's powers and how much control or lack thereof she has over this world in which she and Viz are living become even clearer as her pregnancy suddenly jumps to the 6-month mark in a series of early Braxton Hicks contractions cause the power to fluctuate in their town of Westview. She's also more blatant about rewinding the show to avoid having Vision learn too much, as when he spies Agnes and Herb whispering conspiratorially by the property wall. Wanda finally delivers and gives birth to not one but two, deciding on the names Tommy and Billy. However, not all is well, as Episode 3 reaches its conclusion. Geraldine responds to Wanda when he's talking about her twin brother, saying, "Your brother was killed by Ultron, wasn't he?" And now we're going to take one last short break. Thank you for listening to another episode of the Cinema Gold Podcast. Please leave us a rating and review on Apple Podcasts. Follow us on Twitter at CinemaGold2. That's CinemaGold with the number 2. And like us on Facebook by going to facebook.com/cinemagoldmovies. Send us a voice message and be featured on a new episode by calling 682-305-0483 and become a patron by visiting our Patreon, patreon.com/cinemagold. Thank you, and join us tomorrow for another all-new episode of the Cinema Gold Podcast.
Thank you for listening to the Cinema Gold Podcast. If you want to become a supporter, you can buy us a coffee at buymeacoffee.com/cinemagold. Follow us on Twitter at cinemagold2 and like us on Facebook at facebook.com/cinemagoldmovies.